In today's Pro Builder SMP episode, I farm so many crimson logs, I finish building my wall, and I finally get a beacon put down. If you do go on to like this video, subscribing is always greatly appreciated. Anyways, enjoy the episode. Now, for today's video, what I want to do is get this wall done at least. Oh, we're being targeted already. Anyways, what I was saying, I want to get this wall done. Now, we started this wall in the last episode, you saw me start to build it, but we ran out of materials. So before we do anything else in this episode, we're going to gather up the materials and get started on this wall. Now, let me just tell you, this was a pain. Luckily, I came up with this really cool idea as to how to mine these trees quicker. So I've got a water column that fires me up to the very top as soon as I grow the tree, and I can just drop down and mine my way all the way through the tree. So I think in the process of this time lapse, I mined about 50 of those trees, and we got quite a lot of crimson wood that's going to last us for a while. As you may have seen in that time lapse, we made this thing. Now, I got a huge amount of resources from this, so let me show you what I'm going to be using to build our walls. We've got all of this big reveal of the wood. Look at that, we have so much. Now this, I really hope is going to be enough to get all these walls done, so we're going to get started on the walls and find out if we have enough. And here we have it, look at this. Now, all of the walls on the inside are actually done. We've got all of the shroom lights in, all of the cobblestone lining these walls, and they're done. Now, the next thing you may be able to see that I am yet to finish is the outside. Now, this is going to take a while, but I do have the cobblestone on me, so I think what I'm going to do is just get these outside walls done, get the fences on the top, get some lighting in on the outside to prevent mobs, and then we're going to be done with the walls. We're well on our way to getting all these shroom lights in. Now, these, in theory, will hopefully stop mob spawning. One thing I forgot to mention earlier was the feedback from last episode. So, I posed the question, should we extend the wall around these buildings? The answer was no. So, what I am doing is I have started a tiny bit of the wall going this way, just to kind of give me an idea of where it could go in the future. But I'm going to just leave this here for now, away and out of sight, and we're just going to work on this wall for now. So in the future, we'll be sure to expand around this area, as a few people suggested, which I think will be really fun. And I'm glad that you all did like the last episode. If you do go on to enjoy this episode, leave a like and subscribe. Now it's time for me to keep placing all of this cobblestone and get this wall done. And just like that, I am pretty sure we're done. Now I'm just going to have a fly around and check, but I was quite careful when doing this, so in theory, we won't have missed anywhere. Let me just have a look around. Yep, and to me it's looking like this whole thing is done. Our entire wall is now constructed. Or maybe Yeah, this is me being a bit picky, but there's a few areas that maybe could be worked on a tiny bit more, but for the most part, this wall is done. Now all it needs is some fences on top to make it look a bit more spiky and to give it that extra little touch. The slight problem I've just realised is this is the entirety of the wood I have left. So I don't quite have enough fences to complete this wall, because as you can see, this is probably 200 or 300 blocks long, and there's like a fence per block if you average it out. So I've got nowhere near enough fences. I'd probably need 4 or 5 stacks. So I'm probably going to leave that for now, and maybe do it off camera, and maybe I'll show you a time lapse if I do get around to doing it in this episode. But we actually have a functional wall now that is going to protect our village from all the mobs. One thing I had to get done, according to a few of the other members, is remove parts of my old house, or at least I need to get all the resources that I'd left over in my old base. Now where do we go? Oh yeah, this way. Because what is happening, it's quite exciting, is Extra and Disruptive are going to be expanding their building area, and my house is in the way, so it's got to go. Say goodbye to the old house. I'm not going to take the house down, but I'm going to remove kind of all of the exterior stuff, and I'll just leave this little thing here, and they can do what they want with it. So there it goes. Goodbye, our beautiful first starter house. And just like that, there goes our old base. So I did help Extra yesterday clearing out this whole forest, and it's really cool what these guys are working on over here. They have a beacon, and they're working on all of this area, and they're going to be expanding and creating some really cool buildings in the area that you see we cleared here. Anyways, as we fly back to our base, speaking of beacons, which that has just reminded me, we need to put a beacon down. It's been sat in my ender chest for quite a while, so it really is time to get it down and get some power-ups going. I'm going to take a flight up and have a bird's eye view of this base here, just to see where we want to put our beacon exactly. So we are quite high. If we look down, well, looks like it should go somewhere in the middle of the carrot field. We can do that. That will work. Well, here is about where I want to put the beacon. It's in the middle of the carrot field, unfortunately, but it kind of gives us the range of the beacon in the entirety of my base, so that will be really useful. So I think it is time to get the beacon down. I think we're just going to say goodbye to this bit of the carrot field, and maybe we will move it at some point, so we still do have a supply of carrots. And just like that, we have the first layer of the beacon. Now it's time to get the rest done. And we have it done. So now it is beacon time. There we go. We've got the achievements. First time I've done that in this world. We have our beacon. And obviously the last thing to do is to power it. Now, what do we want here? Obviously we want haste, and probably haste 2. Or, yeah, I think I'll keep haste 2 for now, because for a lot of what I'm doing around this area is simply building. So I think the haste 2 for now will just help us take down stuff that we need to take down, and if we do need to move the beacon anywhere and have strength or resistance or whatever, we can do. And look at that, up in the top corner, haste 2 permanently around this area. Now this is amazing. I am just going to remove the carrot field for the time being, as we have so many carrots and I want to start building in this area. So maybe in future we move it to maybe over here around the edges or something, but I just think having it in the middle is a bit of a nightmare when it comes to building. Now I did have a little infinite water source here, so what I'm going to try and do, oh that hasn't worked, what I am going to try and do is something I think I saw in a F-Whip survival video. Now, what I saw in this video was a infinite water source in a fountain. Now, has this worked or am I being stupid? I think I am stupid. Just adding in the final touches here. It's only a little design, but I think this looks quite cool. What I might add here is a chain hanging down with a lantern. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Now, I did not have any chains, but I have crafted a few. And let's see how this looks. Oh, that looks really cool with the shaders. Look at that. Anyways, there we go. A little fountain, which in theory, let me just check if it actually works. Should, anywhere we click on it, just give us, yeah, infinite water source. Perfect. What I don't want to do for our beacon is a huge building, but I do want to kind of copy the style of this over to a beacon. Just adding in a few log towers in the corner here. I think this will be the basis of our design. Now, the only problem is the color scheme on the thing over there is 5 blocks wide, and this is 7 blocks wide. So, oh, can I count? No, it's 9 blocks wide. What am I talking about? Anyway, I'm going to have to think of how I'm going to fill up the space in between where the pattern doesn't work. While we do think about this colour scheme, I can just get these corner things in because I did happen to have the materials to match what we did over there. So I'm just adding a little hanging lantern on each corner. I'm getting started on some sort of colour scheme for this build. I was going to consider adding some dark oak logs, but I don't quite think they work for this colour scheme. So I'm just repeating the exact colour scheme I've used on there pretty much and adapting it for this little build. The thing that I have just realised that is really not very fun is I need more crimson logs, and yet again I'm pretty much out of crimson logs, so back to the tree cutting it is. All I want is these crimson fungus, and look how much of... you get so many of these root things, it's so annoying, but I don't think there is anything I can do about it. If there is like a way just to farm these and I'm being an idiot, please tell me in the comments, but I feel like I just have to keep on clicking here. And just like that, we have enough stacks to keep on building. We are making slow and steady progress here. The shape is coming together. I will step back in a second when I've got a few more of these details in and show you what we're working on. I'm finally taking a step back and having a look at what we've made. It is not quite done, but I think it is looking really nice. So here is the design. It is kind of more fortified, a bit almost like the house, but not quite the same. It's a kind of mixture of the two, so it's got a bit more kind of a solid base than these towers, but it uses the colour scheme of the towers, and as you can see, I think it looks really nice. So I think the last thing I want to do with this design is fix up the top. As you can see behind me, it kind of feels like it needs a few walls and fences in there to kind of complete the thing. So I think that is what we're going to try now. And just like that, I'm pretty sure I'm happy and done with this design. So here is what each side is looking like. It's kind of a mix between this and kind of all of it mashed together, as I said earlier. But I've repeated this on all the sides. It kind of slopes a bit down towards the middle, which I really like. And then we have fences up at the top. As I was saying, fences up at the top, a little platform up here, which will allow us to kind of view the beacon if we're flying around anytime, and we can kind of see in and look at the beacon. And I've also added a few lanterns around here, because the one thing I don't want is mobs and especially creepers spawning anywhere near this thing, because I don't want a beacon to be blown up. And while we don't have a second beacon that we can move around whenever we want, it is possible that I can just hop in here and I will be able to take all of the iron out quite easily. So if I do ever need to move this, which I probably will for some bigger projects and mining out materials in the future, then I can just jump in here and remove the beacon. What I really should add is a door on one side, but I don't want to do that right now, and I will do it at another time. I mean, it'll be pretty simple. I'll just add a crimson door a bit like this one, just so we can walk in, and if I am destroying the beacon, I don't have to fly up into the structure. Anyway guys, I think I'm going to have to wrap this episode up here. It was a really fun episode. I did actually quite enjoy getting this wall done, although it did take a really long time. So sorry for that. I can't do much more in this episode, simply for the fact that that wall took too many hours. One more thing, I am back at school now and I have got exams coming up quite soon, unfortunately. So I am still going to be making content, don't worry about that. But I'm not going to be producing quite as many videos, and I'm maybe going to make them slightly shorter. Anyways, I hope you can understand that, and I hope you stick around, because I will be putting as much effort as possible into the videos that I do produce. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.